Ahead of more UN peace talks set to take place in Morocco regarding the dire situation in Libya, a security official has said on Tuesday that Islamic militants seized Bahi and Mabrouk oil fields in Libya after security forces tasked with guarding the oil fields had retreated. Both oil operations were already empty after staff were evacuated due to security concerns. Jose, man, the Bahi oil field in Libya for a long time has been attacked many, many times. And we've seen the national oil company in Libya come out and say, hey, if this keeps happening, we're going to shut off all the oil productions completely. And this is ISIS aside.
In that place or in the country?
In that place. And if it keeps happening everywhere, it's going to happen everywhere. We're going to have to put it to a halt. So Mabrouk, that's the other field that's been mentioned here, Bahi and Mabrouk. Those are the two that were taken over. So it's also been attacked numerous times. And basically what it shows is, if we forget the IS narrative here for just a minute, that what you're seeing is a country whose biggest earner, its main industry, is completely grinding to a halt. And it has no money. And it will have no money in the future. So they're running out of money. Libya is an oil exporter. We know that. That's what they do. If their revenue shuts off, then it's simply catastrophic, and we can call it a failed state, if not already. So this is really key, what we're seeing here. So it's one thing if we see IS militants or IS-associated militants, affiliates, whatever you want to say. It's one thing if they go into these oil fields and they're blocking off government access, right? But it's like the question is, can they really get money from it? Can they take out the oil for themselves? Exactly. We know that they get a lot of money from oil, millions of dollars a day, it's predicted. And the question is, in Libya, probably not. In Iraq, we see IS going out recruiting oil experts people who have worked for years before IS was even formed. But they're getting these experts, and they're making sure that the oil refineries that they have are working, and they're keeping up, they're pumping up oil, pumping out money. In Libya, it's a bit of a different story, though. Libya is much larger. The pipeline system is much more complex. So the question is, are we going to see them pumping oil from these two refineries up to the north to be exported? Most likely not, which is good news. But then it raises another question. What are they doing then? Why are they taking these oil fields? Is it symbolic? Is it to just so that the journalists say that it happened, and then people like you and I are talking about it, letting everybody know that it happened? Because that plays a lot into it.
I think it's a half and half. I think that they hope that eventually their advances are so successful that they can access to these countries that are, like you said, they have a failed government, or the infrastructure is there for them to grab, and they will find little opposition from the local governments to fight them off. And based on the experience that they had in Iraq, apply that knowledge, apply those systems to these other countries. That's one side. But the other side is, like you said, they're trying to fit their own narrative. They're trying to make this statement that they're able and capable of going into these countries and take over and make a big dent in the stability of the country by taking, big production facilities of oil. That is the main business of that country. So I think it's half and half. Today, maybe it's 75% more of a show than it is a possibility of it happening. But I don't rule out that they have a plan to eventually, if they are successful, rely on this infrastructure that is already there for their own benefit.
Yeah, no matter what the argument is, are they getting money? Are they doing it just symbolically as a land-grabbing kind of operation? It is, it is, we should note that it underlines Libya's current situation politically, exactly. or the lack thereof completely, because only in a country like Libya, and it's stated that it's in now, can these kinds of things happen. And ISIS has been in there kind of under the radar, and it hasn't really seemed so difficult for them to get where they are now.
And I think that's exactly what you say. When ISIS is really good at identifying these countries where the political situation is so frail that if they move a little bit and they, like you said, they manage to bring the oil production to a halt, it will create more poverty, it will create more instability, and they will be able to be more attractive, if you will, for the strange population to join.
Yeah, and it could all be traced back, of course, to 2011. When Gaddafi was taken out with a US-led coalition, with France, of course, Britain too, but do you think the US should be taking a bigger stance here to fight ISIS and help get Libya back on its feet? Let us know what you guys think. We'd love to hear what you have to say by commenting. And of course, if you haven't done so already, please subscribe to the Lib TV.